PG. Alright, this video is sponsored by RGF Productions, Rep, Boy Fetty, and also sponsored by Brisk Iced Tea. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrogen?
Hydrated.
You said hydrogen.
But I most certainly did not. You're wasting time.
You have time.
Okay.
Alright. So, today in the A&J podcast, we will be discussing Act 4, Scene 1 of the play Macbeth, written by the ever-famous playwright and poet Shakespeare. And let's get right into this. No further ado. So, the scene and act opens up with the witches. They've been introduced prior to the story. One of the earliest characters we ever see in the story, actually. And they're just making some sort of concoction, I guess you would say. Brewing something inside a cauldron. And Macbeth enters and he wants, I guess you would say, answers. He has questions. He wants to know what's going to happen next. He wants to see, I wouldn't say see the future, but he wants some insight, basically. And the witches agree. And Macbeth also says that he wants it directly from the masters, basically the spirits and whatever that are beyond the witches. Alright, Joe?
Alright, so we're basically, we're going to be talking about three strong characters in Act 4. We're going to be talking about the apparitions. There's three of them. The first one says, and I quote, Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fire, dismiss me enough.
Thane of Fire.
You know, Thane of Fire, that's it. Anyway, you understand. It's basically a warning to Macbeth about Macduff. Macduff. I'm stuttering. All right. Anyway, the second apparition says, and I quote again, Macbeth, 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 be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of women born shall harm Macbeth. That, as you know, was basically a warning to Macbeth. No man born of a woman can harm him.
Yeah, we find out that born of a woman is a little bit more tricky than it seems here. But let's not get into that right now.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
And the third aspiration says, and I quote, be lion, metal, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirators are. Macbeth shall never vanquish, be until a great Burnham wood, the high Dunsinane hill, shall come against him. Long, you want to take over what that was, or you want me to explain this one?
Yeah, you can explain it.
All right. Basically, what this one was this a warning? This is a warning about the certain tree and the wood from that tree. Which I can go into detail about what that means.
Come again?
How that affects the story later on. I can go into that now. Those that wood, it's later on used in the shields. They're soldiers. They make their shields out of that specific type of wood as they're attacking Macbeth and his army.
Yeah, so again, one of the things that the apparitions show have a double meaning, so to speak. Or they're not as clear as you think.
Now, one thing that I wanted to state specifically is I think that the apparitions, those three had a huge impact on Macbeth's behaviors and what caused him to be, you know, all of his craziness and nonsense and technical difficulties. There we go, we're going to fix that. And that's kind of what affected Macbeth later on and caused him to go a little bit
I mean, about the apparitions, like, obviously they have some sort of impact, or else they just be completely useless, the story. But I don't know so much about, like, a huge impact. Like, I guess, they did push him a little, and, like, they told him double meanings, but I don't know if that's really enough for me to say something that was that critical.
I mean, but the apparitions kind of gave Macbeth a little bit of a high. They made his ego pretty high. They made him feel like he was invincible, untouchable. They really just got to his mind. It seems really got.
So you're arguing that the apparitions caused him to be more, I don't know, sloppy and just
a little more sloppy, a little more. Yeah, that's basically the word you can use. Is sloppy. It's a simple thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely see
I
how the
mean, except for
apparition.
like the first one. The first apparition kind of does the opposite. Tells him to actually be scared.
It does. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. The apparition does
So I guess it's like
give him more to heat.
2 out of 3 is good. I guess.
2 out of 3. We'll give it a 2 out of 3. We'll
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah,
But
and then
2 out of 3 is still a strong number, though. To be fair,
definitely
two,
strong number.
two of
Majority.
them, 2 out of 3.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
From there, basically, there's more that happens. There's something else that's happening. The witches then show something that's like a long line of people that seem to be rulers and such. All of them look similar to Banquo. Basically, this is their Banquo's line of successors that will hold the throne. And this obviously invokes quite a bit of jealousy inside Macbeth, and you can imagine how he feels right now. Like he thought that he had gotten rid of Banquo, like because he was already jealous of Banquo from the start, and then like when he thought that he got rid of him, obviously the ghost of Banquo appears at that feast, so that's like it's like a punch to the face, so to speak.
Basically, waking him up saying, "Oh man."
Yeah, he's like, I thought that this would feel better, but I guess it doesn't. And then here he's just like, so this is still gonna happen. Banquo is still gonna have a long line of successors. Banquo still wins, I guess you would say. But yeah, that's basically what happens. Makes him very angry, very jealous. And then it carries on, yada yada yada. What just said, witches disappear. Then Macbeth talks to Lennox and asks about if he saw the Weird Sisters. And here I think that like what asking something like, did you see those supernatural sisters? Like if I went up to you and then I asked, did you see those witches? Like you would think I was crazy, right?
I would think you were a madman.
Exactly. And like people already think lowly of Macbeth enough, but like if you're running around asking if you saw witches, you're gonna look even more crazy and unfit to rule. So this was one of the things that blew up the not insurrection really, so to speak, but invasion and weakened his rule even more. You understand?
I understand completely. It made him seem like a fool. Nobody would respect him. If my king said, if Barack Obama, back when he was president, if I ever heard him go out there and say, "Oh, these 3 witches told me to go nuke China," I would. I don't know if I'd be an Obama supporter anymore. I don't know. I don't know if I'd support him with that. I don't know. It's a bit crazy.
Alright, then after that, Macbeth has a little aside, and he just basically says that he missed his opportunity and gave Macduff an opportunity to flee and leave, basically, because Macbeth wants to kill Macduff at this point, and he gave Macduff the opportunity to leave. He waited too long. Uses words like flighty purpose.
You're here to play like a rat.
Yeah, flighty purpose, overtook. Basically, because I let him flee, I missed my opportunity. I cannot achieve what I want now. And then he says that no longer, basically he's saying, no longer shall I stay here and just wait for things to happen. Which, would probably be a smarter course of action than to be so impulsive. But that's exactly what Macbeth wants to do now. He just basically says, shoot. Let me collect myself real quick. He basically says he's going to act on instinct and impulse now. Now, thinking back to what you said about the apparitions, these seem directly linked, really. Like, you said, like, now Macbeth's ego is over.
It's huge through the roof. Only one thing basically scares Macbeth.
Huge.
Scares.
And now he's saying that he's gonna act on impulse. You said that he's gonna be acting sloppy now, and now if you're acting sloppy and acting on impulse, it does not sound like a good combo at all. Actually, when you really think about it, and yeah, this definitely can be argued that this is. You're absolutely right, Joel. This is one of the more really critical things that led to Macbeth's demise. and downfall. Like he didn't plan for, like you can't plan for an invasion. You know, I mean you can, but he chose not to. He chose not to do anything really. He was just like, I have soldiers, I have my sword, I can't be touched. And
He had the prophecy.
It did not go well for him, as we know.
We all know that.
Kind of lost his head over things, but it is.
Movie.
I had to put in the pun, man. I had to put in the pun.
In
Anyways,
the
Joel. Joel, has been a great podcast with you. I'll see you on the next A&J podcast. Believe the next one is scheduled for Saturday.
Saturday it is.
Yeah, maybe next time you'll have some better scenery, because that's a little dry.
Wow,
It's a little dry there. I'm not gonna lie. But you did great. We did great. Shout out to our audience. Remember, to all you audiences, Fetty Wap coming out with a new mixtape.
Oh my God!
Bruce Wayne dropping June 7th. Make sure that you catch that.
Don't look at this.
You're gonna love it.
Don't
You
take
can't
this
miss
into
it.
consideration.
You cannot miss that mixtape.
Also,
Make sure to stay hydrated with clean and
and
refreshing brisk water.
In the recording
brought to you from Lipton Company.
Sponsored by Xbox. Lipton.
Yes, Xbox indeed. Game up. Game up right here.
Okay. Is that a cut?
Kind of better than mine, but let's not worry about that. Anyways, that's it for today. Have a good night or a good day. Boys. I don't know when you're watching this. And make sure to give us 100%.
Yeah.
See ya.
100%.